Day 3, we split up into two groups. 2 Jeeps went to visit the Dam Busters dams, and 5 Jeeps went to visit the village Hans' family is from in Holland. Dave and I took our Jeeps to see the Sorp and Mona dams with Chris, Richard, and Robin in the other Jeep. Looks like a cute little town. Look at the church top on that one.
Yeah, it's almost Orthodox looking.
Yeah. There's that church. It was down the alley.
What was it?
The church, it was really cool. It looked really old. It was a long drive to visit the dams, and after several hours of driving, we stopped at a cafe in the little village of Bork, Germany, to have a cup of coffee and a pastry. There was a church just down the alley from the cafe that piqued my interest, so I decided to walk down to see it before continuing in the Jeeps. We had passed so many churches in the little villages so far, I decided to check this one out. After doing a little research, I found out this was St. Stephanus Church, built in 1718 to 1724. This was a tunnel we went through along the way. I'm not sure where it was at because I was just following the leader at this point. After driving through the flatlands for several hours, we started climbing up into the mountains.
I think they got the message. Yes, find me a log. I shall use it.
That looks like an old house. Look at it's even sagging. A lot of people trying to go through that little town.
Ernie's auto crossing here in the mountain.
We reached the Sorp Reservoir around 3 p.m. This was one of the dams that was bombed by the famous Dam Busters raid, May of 1943. The bombing raid on the Sorp Dam was unsuccessful. The bombs had created some craters but did not breach this earthen-built dam. The small village of Sundern, where the dam is located, is a resort-type town with a passenger ferry shuttling tourists to the other side of the lake and a marina filled with small sailboats. After visiting the Sorp Dam, we continued on to the Mona Dam and reached the reservoir around 5 p.m. The Mona Dam was built in 1904 of quarry stone. The dam busters were successful in breaching the dam, which disrupted industry downstream and killed approximately 1,500 people. After our visit to the Mona Dam, we were back in the Jeeps, heading to home base. It would be a long drive to Oosterbeek.
Wow, look at that. What is that? God, I'm right in the sun, so. Oh, there we go.
It was about 8 p.m. when we reached Dudelman, so we stopped to have a bite to eat. We continued on to Oosterbeek after dinner, arriving about 11:30 p.m. We had driven over 300 miles to see the Dam Buster Dams, a 13-hour day out in the Jeeps. On June 2nd, we would be driving through a Dutch national park near Arnhem on the way to the landing zone of the British Airborne gliders near Arnhem.
Coop for sale. Park WWII.
After driving through the park, we visited the British Airborne landing zone during Operation Market Garden.
But all this was the landing zone for the airborne troops, drop zones, gliders. They all came in here and further behind the trees there and aided. Now, that might not be that interesting to look at this here. No, it's just a plain field where you could land gliders and drop parachutes and whatever. The interesting part is that you will now either do two things. Either you will find the route which the reconnaissance jeeps took into Arnhem, and they raced to the bridge because they wanted to reach the bridge as fast as possible with those jeeps and machine guns and the reconnaissance troops to secure whatever, an area to which then the airborne troops could come into. And the airborne troops actually had to march from here to the bridge or to Oosterbeek in Arnhem, which was roughly 10 miles, 10 miles away. So if you remember, for instance, the Pegasus Bridge in Normandy, where they actually landed with the gliders right on top of the bridge and took it immediately. Now here, they came to secure the bridge at Arnhem, but they had to land here because there was no suitable landing zone closer to the bridge at Arnhem. But that was really tough from here to get to Arnhem on foot. It took hours and hours over enemy occupied territory. So eventually, when the Germans realized what was happening, they were blocking the access to Arnhem, and the troops had actually to fight to get there.
After unloading their jeeps from the gliders, the reconnaissance group drove down this dirt road which paralleled the train tracks. When the British Airborne reached this point in the road, the Germans were waiting for them in the hill up ahead and engaged them with machine gun fire.
So the machine gun was up there. There it is. Oh yeah. Should we put the...
This culvert was under the railway running to Arnhem and originally used for the drainage of rainwater. On September 19th, the British paratroopers used this tunnel, taking their jeeps and artillery to fight in the area south of the railway.
It's funny, little things for little money.
Boy, those guys had some balls because they didn't know. Uh-oh. Pretty cool. That was fun.
After some of us drove our jeeps through the tunnel, we continued along the dirt road to Oosterbeek. On the way, we passed a monument where British paratroopers had been killed in the German ambush on the dirt road.
What time of the year was it?
Same time.
Next, we visited the Airborne War Cemetery in Oosterbeek.
That's exactly RAF. The Naval Air Service.
After visiting the cemetery, we continued on to the Airborne Museum. The building was a hotel at the time that was taken over and used as British headquarters during the Battle of Oosterbeek and Arnhem. We finished off our day with a nice meal back at our hotel in Oosterbeek.